So it's been said that France, which is co-hosting the summit with Saudi Arabia, they've been said to be lobbying Western nations, including Australia, including the UK. And it is at the summit that France is reportedly gearing up to unilaterally recognize Palestine as a state at the summit. Can I ask you what you make of all this? How important is the recognition of Palestinian statehood by these countries?
Thank you. First, thank you for having me. I think it's very, very, for me, very tragic that the international community is talking about two-state, instead of talking about the need to end the genocide in Palestine now. We know that more than 55,000, these are official figures, of Palestinians have been killed, mostly women and children, and they are still being killed. So the focus should be to stop the killing, basically, right? And we also hear of the latest news that some of these Palestinians were killed while they were trying to get food. They were queuing to go and get food, and they were killed while they were trying to get food. So they were in a very difficult situation. If they don't go and try to get the food, they will die of hunger. Their children will be dying of hunger. But if they go and get the food, they may not come back alive, and the children will lose their parents and so on. So you can imagine how tragic the situation is, and the international community should be now punishing Israel for committing these horrific crimes, basically, right? So for me, the discussion on the two-state solution shows that the international community seems to be living in a make-believe world. They seem to be completely ignoring the genocide. They simply don't want to discuss about the genocide, about the suffering of the Palestinians, and talking about this state, which, by the way, has proven to be ignored and opposed by the Israelis since the Oslo Accord. The idea came officially, actually the idea started before that, but the Oslo Accord came up with the idea of two-state solution, and that was, 30 years ago, and Israelis have been doing nothing about it. Immediately, the year after the Oslo Accord, Rabin, the prime minister at that time, he spent, the government under him spent 600 million on new roads in the West Bank. That shows that they had no intention to allow Palestine to set up their own state, because they were actually reinforcing their presence in the West Bank. And then they built settlements after that, settlements after settlements, and they increased the presence of settlers from a few hundred to now almost 700,000, almost 100,000 settlers now. So they had no intention to allow a Palestinian state to be established. Instead, they have been grabbing more lands, killing more Palestinians, making sure that the Palestinians' life in the West Bank and also in Gaza to be so horrible that they would have no choice but to go and leave the country. So that was their plan all along, and which is part of their Zionist strategy to take the land of Palestine for the Palestinians. So, and people are still discussing about something which Israelis have no interest in. So that's why I think there is something wrong with this leader of the European countries and other leaders who are discussing about this.